I'm going to hand over to Samantha, and she's just going to loosen us all up as she does. So over to you, Sam.
So what we're going to do is, everyone, I need you to have a pen and a paper. That's it. That's all you need. Okay, so what we're going to do is, it's called bingo. I'm sure everyone's played bingo at least one time in their life, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what you're going to do is, on your piece of paper, all you're going to do is draw the hashtag sign or a block like this. Also cross the sign.
Hashtag.
Yes, hashtag.
Okay.
So basically, obviously, we all know we're going through Corona, COVID-19. So this is COVID-19 bingo. Something fun, something to get us loosened up, let the brain work for a second. Yeah, if you, in South Africa, the casinos are closed. So I know some people like to go to the casino. I'm taking you there right now.
Yay.
Won't mention any names. Okay, so all you're going to do, in each block, you're going to write down anything that comes to mind when you think of COVID-19, Corona. Okay, everyone can just let me know when they're done.
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 Oh, I can't think of nothing. I've done 4.
Done. Well, you're going to win the bingo, are you, Bron?
I never do. That's a problem. Oh, Schweppes. Okay, done.
Okay, cool. So, as you get what I say, if you've written something in the corner, you just cross it out. Okay, the first person to get in a line down or a line diagonal shouts out bingo, and you get bingo. Yes?
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so the first word, if you have written down the word pandemic, cross it out.
Go downstairs. Go now. I'm training. Sorry. Close my door. Sorry.
Did anybody cross it out, or did you all just look at your paper to see?
Don't have it.
I didn't write it.
No.
Okay, that's okay. Okay. If you've written down the word temperature, cross it out.
I think we're a lot more optimistic.
Yeah.
You've got, your words are too serious, Sam.
Okay. If you've written down the word TikTok, cross it out.
My word.
TikTok exploded when Corona started.
Yay, bingo!
Georgie, you cheated me.
That was cheating.
We voted.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, it's telling us a little bit about this group, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are you done, Sammy? So we've got a winner. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you, Sam, for doing that bingo. That's a lot of fun. I think we're all looking up now. Sam didn't formally introduce herself. Let me just quickly say to you, she is a professional dancer and a dance teacher. And she's got Zoom under control because during lockdown, she started doing her dance classes over Zoom. So it's a brand new thing that she entered into. And Sam will be she'll be coming back later on this afternoon and doing a stress relief. She's our stress relief coach.
Okay.
Good.
All right. I'm going to start now with the actual program. And I just want to put the logistics in place. If you have a question, raise your hand. Happy? Okay. And we want this to be interactive, so please don't be shy to raise the hand. Okay. At the bottom, there's a chat box. If you want to just pop a note in quickly to everyone or something, you're very welcome to do that. These courses that we are running, it's about communication at the end of the day. So the more we communicate and the more we learn about how to communicate better, that's first prize. Okay, so please don't be shy. Stop us if we're rambling. If we didn't understand something, go for it. Okay. I want to give you a quick background on me and what I am and who I am, and then I'm going to ask all of you to introduce yourselves. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So I have had a very, very long career, a corporate career of many years. It spans 30 years, and my goodness, I'm probably giving my age away now. And over that period of time, having climbed the ladder to more or less the top of where I could be, I was, for 18 years, I was in one organization where I climbed my way through the ladders, and I ended up being the head of the business development team in that organization after doing many other things in that company. So 4.5 years ago, it was crossroads time. It was time to decide, do I carry on and wait for my pension at that organization, or do I go for my purpose? Do I go for what I really enjoy? And what I really enjoy is this. It's always been my passion. People, the growth of people, the development of people, talking to people, encouraging people, motivating people. It's been the thing that I just naturally did in that career. So I then decided it was time. So I went on a sabbatical and I qualified myself as a life coach. And that is what I do today. The principles in which I'm qualified is called NLP, and it stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. You might have heard of it. And it's very much the basis from which I live my life these days. I do training in corporate companies. I've done many of it. So anything. Communication is the thing I'm qualified in. I have a degree in communication. So every day when I wake up, the thing that makes me want to continue is to see how I can get better at communicating. Because to me, and I think it should be for all of us, the basis of all humanness is communication. Whether you can hear or you can see or you are not able to walk or whatever, you have to in some way communicate with another human being.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So I also do career coaching, and with that I try and help people build their careers. And I'm gonna talk you through the program now. The whole idea of communication is to build a brand. So when you show up, before you've even opened your mouth, what's the brand? We've got a body language expert with us, and that's Matthew, and he's going to introduce himself later. So we're going to cover as much as possible around communication, so that by the end of today, when you walk away, you've got a couple more tricks under your belt, you've learned a couple new skills, and you're going to go out into the world and practice them. Because at the end of the day, it's no good to learn, and it's no good to come onto a training course if you haven't learned something and go away and apply it. I've always said in my life when I am training, what's the point of being in a 3-hour session and you don't go and apply 1 or 2 things? What's the point? There's no point. You have to take whatever it may be, and the pennies are going to drop as we go along, and that's the point. Dots need to be connected so that at the end of the day you walk away with something that you can go and apply, whether it be in your personal life or whether it be in your career. It doesn't matter. Communication is what we need. Okay, so as to start with my NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, we have a couple of presuppositions, or as you saw in your manual, if you've looked at your manual, the first one, we call it an undeniable truth. And the first one says, the map is not the territory. Please remember that. What do we mean by the map is not the territory? We live in a universe, in a world. We all come from different backgrounds. Here we are today, we sit in South Africa, you sit in the UK. We're all from different backgrounds, which means our maps are not the same. It means that the way I view the world is not the way you view the world. We've just seen it through playing bingo. We don't all think the same. We don't all do the same. We don't view stuff the same. Therefore, when you are communicating, it is extremely important that you understand the map from which the person whom you are communicating with is coming from. If you can get to do that better, which often we fail at, because we don't want to do the work to understand the map the person is coming from. So we blurt out what we believe, and we blurt it out from our maps, and then our communication go wrong, and then we want to know why. So when we say the map is not the territory, we need to realize the territory is vast and huge, and it is a universe beyond comprehension. There's even life out there on other planets. Okay? So we need to understand this thing which is called the map, your map. First, you have to understand your map, where you are coming from, and then understand the rest. Did you know that on an average day, you are bombarded with about 20 million bits of data? Do you know that? It's probably even more. Now, how on earth are you supposed to deal with all of that data coming into you, make sense of it, and then try and communicate effectively with everybody around you when you've got so much coming into you? Here's another undeniable truth, and you can go and research it. Your brain can only take in, on an average day, 7 bits of data. On a good day, you can take in 9 bits of data. On a bad day, when you are feeling rotten or you are sick, 5 bits of data. What happens to the rest? What happens to the rest of that data that comes in?
And store it.
You could be storing it, okay? You could be storing it. You have a subconscious mind and you've got a conscious mind. But what your brain will do to help you to survive, your brain is trying to help you to survive, right? So the brain will naturally either delete the data that it doesn't need or doesn't think that you need. It will distort it, or it will generalize it. That's what the brain will do to help us to survive. It has to do that. It has to do that. So how do you delete data? What does this deletion mean? it means that I will only pay attention to what interests me. The rest I'm going to delete. So if you're coming from this side of my ear and I'm not quite interested in what you are saying, I promise you I'm deleting you. That's what we do. That's why we end up having to repeat ourselves. Because you can see that the person has deleted you. And the reason for it is that the brain cannot handle that mass of information. Distort. How do we distort? We pay attention to what we believe, where our belief system lies, we pay attention to that. So what we value most, we'll pay attention to that. So we will distort the rest. We'll give you a story. And lastly, we'll generalize. We generalize, all of us, we do it. I've just generalized. I've just told you, all of us, we do it. That generalization. Yes, it is. Or we say, everything is wrong. How many times haven't you said that? Rainier, have you ever in your life before said everything is wrong?
Yeah, it's easier to say everything is wrong than just to, yeah, we all say it.
We all say it. And when you do that, you are generalizing. Your brain is saying, I can't deal with all of this, so I'm just going to generalize. I'm going to say everything's wrong. Because I don't actually want to take the time to go and find out what is wrong. Here's the trick. You've got to go to being specific and understanding exactly what, and stop that. When I say to you NLP, the N is for the brain, it's neuro. It's everything that goes up here in your mind, it manifests in your body, okay? That's the neuro part of it. You've got lots of senses going through your body. Your brain is working as you are sitting there right now. Your brain is working, okay? The L part is the language that you speak. So if you say everything is wrong, what is your brain hearing?
Wrong.
Everything is wrong.
Your brain is hearing you. And it will go and store it, Jason, in your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is your filing station. So if you say everything is wrong, your subconscious mind heard you. It said everything is wrong. What will show up in your life is everything is wrong. Has that penny dropped?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so be mindful of what comes out, the language. When I qualified myself in this principle, and I always thought I was a good communicator, okay? But when I qualified myself in doing this, I have started watching my language. And we do not pay attention to it, guys. You don't.
No.
You blurt it out. I'm asking you to let that penny drop today, to walk away from here today with a little bit of, I will watch my language. Do not use negative words. For example, it's a struggle. I'm stressed. I can't. The brain doesn't understand negative words, okay? So it will go and manifest it. It's not going to throw the negative word away. It'll bring it. It'll say, I can't. It's going to give it back to you in your life.
Yeah.
So this map that is not the territory is the most fundamental part in communication, that you understand it. Here's another truth. Your truth is not the only truth. the other person has also. They work from their map. So we cannot demand that someone else understands us unless we've gone and done a little bit of work and understood their map. And let me tell you, a map is only useful if it's a good map. What will happen if you go to Paris tomorrow for the weekend away?
Give us ideas.
Yeah.
Would be nice.
There you go. You're going to Paris tomorrow, but in your bag you've got the map of London.
You're going to get lost.
You're going to get lost.
Yeah.
A map is only good enough if it takes you to where you want to be. Okay, so please make a note of that in your files, wherever, in your subconscious mind. A map is only good if it takes you to where you want to be. Here's the other thing. The person you are communicating with has their own map. Okay? If you want to communicate effectively with that person, you have to build a bridge. You have to build the bridge. You have to build the bridge. Don't expect the bridge to be there. Everybody speaks from their own maps, from our own backgrounds. You want the communication to go well, you build the bridge to that person to get out of it what you want. That's why we call this course Communicate for Results. If you want your way, start communicating for results. And the way you do it is to understand that map and to go there and to build the bridge. Last but not least, around the map, withhold your judgment.
Yeah.
Withhold your judgment. When you are talking to the other person about something or whatever, we naturally go there. We have all the answers already. That's why we don't listen well enough, because we have all the answers.
Yeah.
So when if Brian walks into my office and he wants to come and tell me something, you know what? I've got all the answers already, and therefore I am not hearing what's underneath the surface. So withhold your judgment.
Okay.
I wanted to talk to you about rapport building. Rapport building, as the map, is fundamental to communication. When you have rapport with someone, you have massive influence. Rapport is that good feeling. It's that feeling that you and I, we're on the same page, we understand each other, we are responsive towards each other, and you can build rapport. When you do not have rapport with someone, do you know the word rapport? Hands up. Bronwyn?
Yeah.
Okay. Uvashi? We've all heard the word rapport. It is a fundamental. If you want effective communication, you must have rapport. So even in your working relationships with each other, I'm sure you do have rapport. Your relationship with your client, your relationship with your partner, the fundamental part is rapport. And within rapport, you find harmony, you find trust, you find responsiveness. That is rapport. If you do not have rapport, and you feel that there is someone, you just can't get through to that person, or you just can't get that deal signed off, or there's just something, I promise you now, the word is rapport. And I'd like you to look in your manuals. Please go work through your manuals and look at that word rapport. There's a picture there for you about how rapport is made up. You can build rapport through mirroring and matching. And you can do it via voice, or you can do it through the breathing, or you can do it through the body. I'm going to hand over shortly to Matthew to tell you about body language. It's the best way you can build rapport, but you have to have an awareness about it.
Yeah.
And you have to learn these little things that can get you there to understand how you get into that other person's map and get what you want. get what you want out of the communication. Communicate for a result. I can't stress that more than I have already. We're going to work more and more with it, but rapport building is something you can learn. You can go and watch people's body language. You can watch their facial expressions. What are they doing? You can mirror and match it. Even breathing. And I would like you to go away today. This is one of your homework lessons. I'll go through it again. Is to go and practice it. Go and see someone that you don't have rapport with. Just go and try a couple of things. Mirror and match them, but don't do it like a stalker. Okay? Don't do it like a stalker. Matthew's going to teach you a couple of tricks on how to do it gently, unobtrusively, and authentically, with no manipulation. You don't have to manipulate to get there, but you can get there.
If just to ask a question, then if you've dealing with a situation within our place where where's this going to go to in terms of the recording? Where's it going to go to? Is it staying within?
It's staying with us. It's not going to the public. Don't worry.
When you're dealing with somebody who doesn't appear to want to have that rapport, but wants the people around them to be subservient in the sense of just doing what they say, not actually having utilizing one's brain, and not so you don't. It's, I suppose what I'm saying, it's also about I've got somebody who you can't share information with unless it's the information they want to hear in the way that they want to hear it. So then you spend time going over stuff that's already been agreed. Andy would maybe know this, and Jason, you're going over stuff, you're going back on stuff to get to the same results because the work has already been done. But they are so blinded, or so, I think in some ways, insecure about their own position because they're constantly letting everybody know what position they hold, but won't bring other people in. I'm being being very cautious with my words here.
Safe space, Brian. Spit it out. It's fine.
Spit it out, Brian. Cool.
He's quite belligerent, and won't at all listen to anything, any opinion, any information that's not coming from him. Even if you try to feed him information, unless it's coming from him, he just won't accept it. So I get frustrated. I mean, Jason's had to, I've had to share with Jason. My colleague Joyty's been away, so I've had to share with Jason because it gets frustration because I think we could be further on, but it's almost as if he has to discover things for himself, which is wasting time. Sorry, it's been long-winded to say that.
So he's deleting, distorting, and generalizing.
He is. Thank you, Rania. Well done.
Thank you.
Brian, bring that man on a course with us.
I was just thinking that we're going to invite him and his whole team on this course.
Brian, here's the thing. Here's the thing. He is in his own map, isn't he? You've just said so.
Yeah.
You need to build the bridge. You need to find ways to build the bridge through body language, through mirroring and matching, through actually going and having a deeper conversation with a man. His insecurities is coming through, and unfortunately is causing your communication not to have the result you want. You want what you want, Brian. I'm imploring you to do a little bit more work, and you're going to learn that today. Matthew is chomping at the bit to take over. I can see it, because he wants to teach you about how to deal with this, and he's got those things. He's got the examples to teach you to get there. And Brian, 100% on point. How many of those don't we have in our lives? How many? He's not the only person. Once you can get in there, and you need to go and practice it. So take a couple of the skills we're going to teach you today. I'm going to do later on, I'm going to go through a practical exercise of dealing with criticism. And it's not that he's criticizing you, but it's almost there. So if you can disassociate yourself and understand his map better and build the bridge. I'm not saying it's going to come right in the first encounter, Brian, but when you practice it and get more and more, I've just told you, I've got a degree in communication, yet over the past 4 years, because I changed my language, I changed the way I behaved. I get much more rapport now out of people than before.
Okay.
Okay, I'm handing over to Matt. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so my name is Matthew. Just a quick introduction of myself. I am a professional actor. I've been acting for the last 11 years now. And I've learned a lot about body language and how to use it to my advantage. So I actually did a body language course while I was studying. After high school, I did musical theatre for a while, and then I worked in the theatre for quite a long time, and then now I've started bridging into film a little bit more. And big difference between the two, obviously, as well. I mean, theatre is about your entire body, where film is more about, you know, the close-ups and your eyes. So I had to learn a whole different array of skills moving from the theatre to the screen, in terms of what my face was doing, especially. And a little secret about how they actually do it in film is a lot of the time they ask the actors to have a completely blank expression on their faces. And what they will do is they will show a cut of a scene either of a puppy and back to the actor with the same blank expression, and that actor will look happy to the audience because of what they've just seen, because they've seen the puppy and they see the actor's face. And the same will go for a sad situation. You know, they show a sad clip and then the actor's face again, and then the actor immediately looks sad. So that's just a little bit of tricks for you guys and on how they do it and how they manipulate people's minds into feeling the way they do. That's our job as actors, is to try and make the audience feel an emotion. But how do we get it right as actors? Something we call emotional recall. I haven't lost somebody dear to me, but the character that I'm playing has. So what I have to do, I have to go, they call it catharsism. I go back into my emotional recall and I find something in the back of my mind that made me sad, and I try and bring that out. So if I think about it really hard enough, it starts to manifest in my body and it starts to come out. And that's exactly what we do in a daily life in our communications with each other. Whatever's going on in our minds, whatever emotions and stuff are sitting at the back in our subconscious, slowly come out and manifest into our bodies without us even knowing it. So body language is a form of communication that's nonverbal, and it's probably the most important piece of communication is our body language. And that's anything from how you are standing, what your face is doing, how you're walking, what you're doing with your hands. This all falls under body language. It makes up about 70% of our communication. It's just through body language. The remaining percent is made up of your spoken text, but even more than the spoken text, only about 10%, about 20% is then how you say it, how you say the text. For instance, if is it Brenda?
Bronwyn.
Bronwyn?
Yeah.
I say to you, you look very nice today.
Thank you.
Or I could say, you
Look like
look
shit.
very nice today.
Oh, okay.
I've said the same thing.
Yeah, but
I've
in a
said
different.
and it's given off a completely different vibe, right?
Say that to me too, please.
Guys, I would actually, I'd love you guys, if you guys have questions, please don't hesitate to ask, and take notes where you can. Yeah. So a lot of my job as an actor is to observe people. I make it part of my daily routine. If I'm not on set, or if I'm not in an audition room or on screen, then I'm watching people on a daily, and I'm picking up on mannerisms, and I'm using that to profile people so that I can use those profilings to create characters for myself. So I want to play a man that looks like Brian, and I'm going to allow my beard to grow out before I go to the audition. And I'm going to watch his mannerism. I'm seeing how he's sitting up there like the screen. So I know I'm going to use those mannerisms when I go into the audition if I want to audition for Brian. And so on and so forth. I can just watch the people around here in the Zoom session, pick up on how they are sitting, and use that for character profiling for myself. So that's my job on a daily. So I'm very aware of body language, but more than watching other people's body language, I have to be so careful about my own body language so that I don't give it away that I'm staring at people. You know what I mean? Because that's weird. Nobody does that.
No,
right?
we all do that.
I have to be totally aware of my body language first so that I don't make other people feel uncomfortable, right? And there's tricks that you can do to make that so much more easier. When you approach somebody, for instance, the worst thing you can do is have your arms crossed. So if somebody is approaching you, try avoid having your arms crossed against your chest, because this creates a barrier in between you and the other person, right? It comes off as quite standoffish as well, and uninterested. So if somebody,
And unapproachable.
I know it's a comfortable position to be in.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking, I would recommend going for it if you're thinking hard about something. But as soon as you start engaging with somebody, I would drop your arms immediately, just to allow information to flow more freely. Right? If you are approaching somebody and the conversation might be a bit confrontational, Brian, maybe it's this guy that you need to speak to, and his demeanor is already coming across as quite confrontational. The worst thing you can do is face the person head on. If you know there's going to be some confrontational, I would slightly turn myself, shuffle your feet out a little bit to the side to create a bit of an angle. Makes it a lot more, it creates a softer feel to the conversation. Easiest trick to learn, just to turn your body slightly. If you want to show somebody that you are listening to them intently, all you have to do is turn your head. Just tilt your head slightly to the side.
Me too. Yeah.
Sorry?
I do that. Always turn my head.
Yeah. A lot of the time it's quite natural. I do it naturally because I'm hard at hearing. So I often have to.
Yeah, no, me too.
But it makes the other person feel a lot more comfortable just by turning your head slightly. It shows that you are listening. And if somebody knows that they are being heard, information will flow a lot easier, and they will feel a lot more comfortable in the conversation. Well, that's all following so far. Yes?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Simple stuff that can make the biggest difference. I always say to people that are going for interviews or going for meetings at another building, say not your offices, the meeting starts, or the interview starts as you arrive in the parking lot. So while you're walking out of your car and you're walking into the building, you need to take note of the space that you're in. What kind of environment is it? A very corporate environment? Is it more laid back? If it's a very corporate environment, you have to portray then that corporateness to make yourself look like you belong there. It's the easiest thing in the world. You look at somebody and you try follow their walk. Just try see where their sense of gravity is when they're walking, and try pick up on their walk and try mimic that walk. And you'll immediately start to look like you belong there, and people will be none the wiser. I often go do talks in corporate industries about body language. And when I walk in, I make sure that I look the part. I look like I belong in that business. Even though I'm an actor and I don't dress corporate at all, I make sure that I'm dressed corporate when I'm speaking to corporate people, because they take me a lot more seriously then. If I had to rock up in a jeans and t-shirt, they'd look right through me. So I have to make sure that my character that I am going in there with, that I'm approaching the next person with, is one that looks like he belongs in that environment. This also makes the other people a lot more comfortable. It makes them feel like they're not speaking to somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about at all. Right?
Yeah.
So it's very important for me when it comes to profiling to watch people and watch their mannerisms. A little bit of history
Matthew, so
of body language. Sorry, yes, Jason?
So one of the things with the whole body language, particularly now in the conference and Zoom setup, is definitely the face, because I can see myself sometimes when I'm going through a conversation. You know, even Andy's told me as well. You just do it, and it's unsubconscious, but you end up saying, "I can feel it's not going right." You roll your eyes, you get frustrated, and it's very noticeable now through these Zoom conferences. Where if you're in a big meeting, you might get away with it.
Yes, guys, and one thing that I've learned from film as well is that the camera doesn't lie. The camera will pick up on every little thing, every little eye movement, every roll of the eyes, every sigh. Camera picks up on all of that stuff. I'm going to touch a little bit about Zoom meetings now as well, and how to present yourself in those situations. But
You do find, sorry, can I just quickly say, you do find that when you're on a meeting like this, you do focus more on the people's faces than you would sitting in a meeting room where there's so many other distractions. There's a window, there's, you know, people walking around. Here we are
constantly, our eyes are all over this. Definitely. Absolutely, 100%. Absolutely. Just a quick, before I touch on that, I just want to speak to you a little bit about the history of body language and how through millennia of evolution and all that stuff, our bodies have started to, we've been programmed with certain things in our minds. Our bodies naturally do things like trying to protect your back. It's a human instinct to always try to protect one's back. It's the same when you are approaching people. When you feel scared or threatened, you take a step back from somebody, you close yourself off. If you're feeling threatened or you have your own things going on, your body immediately starts to do things without you even realizing it. So it's so important to be aware of our own body language first, so that we do not say things that we might regret with our body language. Say things. You know, we're saying words, there are words coming out of our mouth, but it's not what our body is saying at all. Like that, like what I did with Bronwyn. Sorry for picking on you, but
That's fine.
simple things like that can alter the situation and turn that communication into a confrontation, which we do not want.
Yeah. Can I quickly ask something?
Yes.
Is body language universal? And what I mean by universal is everybody has different backgrounds, different cultures, different upbringings, different. How does that influence body language? And how, you know?
So much like music is a universal language, body language is also a universal language. It might vary in different parts of the world with regards to perhaps a handshake. I know in a lot of African cultures, a handshake, they will always hold their hand, always put their other hand on their wrist before they shake hands, right? This is also something that's been with us for thousands of years. We always try. I'm actually going to get to it now, but I'll just jump to it now. It's called the open palms. So an open palm is a show of that you are not, well, firstly, you come with good intent, right? It's a form of honesty. So a lot of African cultures, when they shake hands, they shake with their hand over here to show that they're not holding a weapon in any of their hands. You know, when you go to church, you praise the Lord with the open palms up. It's the same when we are speaking. We call this the truth plane. I'm just going to lower my screen here a little bit so you can see. So just below the shoulders and above your belly button, this area over here, this is called your truth plane. I encourage everybody to try and use their hands when they speak. Studies have shown that kids, when they're learning, instead of, they tried it with trying to have kids talk while they learn, to try and retain information. but it worked better when they were using their hands. When kids were starting to explain things with their hands, they started retaining information better. And there's no reason that that can't apply to adults as well. So I would recommend you using your hands. This also allows you to get a story flowing easier. It allows you to show shape and size and direction. So use your hands a lot, but try and avoid having your palms facing down when you're speaking. This is a lot more aggressive than that.
Why?
Having your palms up is a lot, sorry, having your palms up is a lot softer in conversation. It's over there as opposed to it's over there. See how much more aggressive that is to that. So simple open palms when you're speaking and in that truth plane. Nothing up here because then you look a bit crazy and frantic. So below the shoulders and above the table line. This is where we want to use our hands all the time, the truth plane. Okay. I'm just going to touch on a few other smaller things. We've spoken about the head tilt. This is called steepling. This is something that bosses do a lot, and CEOs. They do this move. It's called steepling. This is a power move. It's to show authority. Also goes back to the symbol for man. You know, the spear.
Yeah.
So this is called steepling. We want to try and avoid steepling at all times. If you can, try and avoid it. Unless you're the boss and you'd like to put that authority, try and avoid it. Also try
Talking about
What does it?
go for their ears. People that go for their ears while they're speaking tend to be quite indecisive about things. Naturally, people just naturally go to their ear when they can't make up their mind about something. People that tend to go to their nose tend to be fibbing a little bit.
Oh,
Not
hold on. We
all
wrote
the
this
time,
down.
but you can see they might be hiding something if they. Yeah, Jason, I couldn't do it because something like that, right? Watch for the nose. But it's so important to know what you're doing first before you go out and you start judging people. Oh, he just scratched his nose. He's lying. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that we're not the ones scratching our noses when we're saying things. We want to make sure that we're not the ones with our arms crossed. Yes.
So what is this, when this steepling, what is this?
Steepling, it's a power move.
I mean, I know it feels uncomfortable when someone sits opposite me and they sit like,
yeah.
a little bit, not uncomfortable, but, you know, a bit unsure about
myself. You feel like they all kind of speaking down at you with their
in your brain.
Yes, yeah, like they sort of, yeah.
And this they also do quite naturally because they are in a position of power and they feel like they have that authority over everybody.
Okay.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna see you in my office later. Yeah. You see.
Yeah.
Power move. So we want to try and avoid it, but you also want to you want to make sure that you're not doing it at some point. You know, you're not doing these things. You don't have your arms crossed when people are speaking to you. You know, you're the one that's tilting your head, even if that person is not doing it. There was a study that showed during I think it was Teen Suicide Awareness Week, and they were speaking about how to get through to teenagers, how to get through to people that are quite depressed or in their heads, even if they are aggressive or angry. The worst thing you can do is go to that person and ask them what is wrong, because you'll never get through to them that way.
Yeah.
You're never going to get through to somebody that's being confrontational by being confrontational back towards them, right? So we want to try open the conversation in different ways. We want to open our bodies, make the conversation a little bit more relaxed before we get into that, and that person will then eventually come out with what is wrong. If you don't ask them and it's really bothering them, I promise you they will show it and they will say it. It's like, Brian, you were saying, you know, this guy likes to make it known, right? It's the same as people that do CrossFit. People, you only know that they do CrossFit because they tell you.
Yeah.
Like vegans only tell you they're vegan because you only know they're vegan because they tell you right? It's the same with this guy. Obviously, he likes to know that everybody knows this is how he is. So he's going to come out and say what's wrong anyway. You can be sure about that. Best thing you can do is make sure that you are at ease, so that it's not affecting you too much.
I suppose just
yes, just one more thing. If you guys are another trick for you guys, if you guys feel like you aren't getting the creative juices flowing, I would recommend that you lie flat on the floor. Studies have shown that when you are standing, there's a certain hormone that is released throughout your body while you're standing that isn't released when you're lying down, and it can prohibit your thought patterns. So if you are struggling with something, I would lie flat on the floor. Also, if you're struggling to come up with a solution for something and you're sitting at your desk, I would recommend moving to the edge of your seat and putting both feet on the floor, or pacing, because this activates both hemispheres of your brain. Having both feet on the floor. It's not impossible, but it's quite difficult to answer highly complex questions if both feet aren't on the floor. Don't know why. Well, I know why. It's because of the connection with your brain, and both hemispheres. But it's amazing how your body can help your brain and your brain help your body in turn. If there's any questions, guys, please don't hesitate to ask. If there's anything you want to know, we're just trying to get through as much as possible in the short time that we have.
Okay, so lying flat on the floor, would it be on your back or your tummy?
I would go onto the back.
Okay, yeah, okay. Perfect.
Yes.
I tend to find actually, Matt, if I can't think a solution, I tend to lie on settee for a few minutes and it seems to work. So
okay.
I do that many times during the day when I'm working from home at the moment.
Okay, we're going to take a quick 10-minute break now. You guys can go get yourself some coffee, go to the loo, and we will be back.
Okay, guys, so we're back. Are we missing one?
Back?
Where's Ugoshi? We are. Okay, for the sake of time, we're going to carry on. We are running a little bit over time. If you don't mind, we'll carry on. I just wanted to have a quick whip around the room just to see how you felt about session one. We'll start with Andy. Oh, he's taking a sip. We'll start with Jason.
Yeah, I've learned some good skills so far with regards to delete, distort, generalize as well, and line on the floor, and particularly around body language. I think that's very important, particularly for me anyway.
Thank you, Jason. Thanks for sharing. Andy?
Likewise, thought it was very useful. Body language is very useful. The rapport thing, yeah, I think we need to spend all of us time on that one.
Yeah.
And also be aware that whilst we're building a rapport, sometimes it's difficult for other people.
Yes.
And that's no reflection on us.
Yes, you can't take it personally, but you can practice to do it better. Thank you, Andy. Vermeer?
Yeah, it's understanding that people have different maps, and whilst you may not understand, or while you may not understand someone else's map, it's just knowing that when you speak to someone else, they might be coming from a different point of view. They have a different map, and then it's working on, you know, how you can bridge that. So it's useful to sort of, yeah, to know that.
Thank you, Renier. Yeah, and it does require practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ron?
Yeah, I'm all good. I feel the same. And you can only get better.
Yes, yes. Thanks, Bron. Jyoti, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes. Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. It's been quite useful. I've taken some notes as well. The map thing was very to the point. You can really visualize it, and it was quite deep.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with you, Jyoti. Yeah. So it's very visual. It makes it very visual.
Yes. Thank you, Jyoti. Brian?
I think I kind of echo what most people have said around the maps. I think that's quite poignant for me, and it's still trying to engage people on a similar level then. So although we've got different maps, it's that meeting point and making sure the signals are right, so the gestures and everything else is right, and be more aware of how I am in that process.
Yes, indeed. And thank you for that. And I think there's a lot to be learned in terms of, you gave a very practical example, and thank you for that, Brian, because that is what most of us, we struggle with that. And it's to get that breakthrough. When you get those breakthroughs, you'll see the aha moments and the lights go on. Urvashi is not back yet, so we'll continue. I wanted to share with you around sensory acuity. I didn't touch on enough, I guess, when we started off around our senses and how we experience the world via our senses. In NLP, we call it VACOG. The V stands for visual, what we see. Some people are visual. They need to see to believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people are auditory. They need to hear to believe. Okay. Some people love touch. The K is for kinesiology, so it's touch. Okay, so I'm a hugger, so I should have put that onto my bingo page. I'm really not well at the moment because I'm a hugger. I love hugging people, so my touch is very high. My sense of touch. When you touch me and you hug me and you give me that immediately it switches me on. That's my rapport building thing. Okay. The O is for smell. Olfactory, we call it in NLP. It's smell. Okay. So some of us, when you smell coffee, immediately you're in a good space. Now, when you are building rapport with someone, have the cup of coffee if you know that smell is their thing. Can you hear where I'm going with this thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Not just how
smell also connects memories for us, doesn't it? It connects something. It's not just a smell. The smell is familiar, or yeah, I know what you mean.
Correct. So you've got to use your senses to your own advantage, but use it to understand other people. That's how you build the bridge.
Yeah.
The last one is gastronomy, and that is the food, the taste. In this household, I can tell you now, food is our thing. Food brings us together. When we are around the table or we are able to cook a meal, food builds rapport. So if Brian, if that guy, if the rapport problem is, if his thing is food, I'm just giving it as an example, start to find out what is it. Take him out or have a good meal with him. There's your rapport, there's your bridge. Okay, the way we understand other people, if we can work with the senses, and it's easy, I hope you made a note, visual.
Yeah.
Okay, it's called VACOG. Auditory, kinesiology, touch, olfactory, smell, or food. all these things, it makes us who we are. Okay, so that sensory acuity thing that you've got in your manual there, it's just really about how things show up. But Matthew was talking around body language. It will show in your face where your eyes are going. If someone's eyes are starting to wander while you are talking to them, know that you've lost them. Don't continue talking. Find a break state. What we just did is we had a break state, okay? We gave you a 10-minute break for your brain to reset. And then I came back to you, I programmed you back into focus by asking you for feedback, did I not?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as the coach is going through all of this, please learn that you are coaches in your own right. When you are talking to somebody, pick up on these little things.
But these are also our 5 basic senses: see, hear, touch, smell, and taste.
Correct.
Those are also the basic human senses.
Correct. That's how you experience the world, through your senses.
Yeah.
So ensure that you understand your own sense, understand what it is that makes you tick, then find out what it is that makes the other person tick, and build the bridge on the senses. Okay. It's guys, it is foolproof. It will work. You just have to try it. You just have to try it. And get away from this false humility thing. Try it. People are people. They want to pull you in. Jyoti, you had a question?
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to know, so how do you find out if the other person is more a visual person or person or kinesiology? How do you find out?
Okay, let me tell you. If I'm visual, my language will tell you. Let me see if I heard you right there. Let me see. I'm a visual. Let me see. I'm telling you. I'm giving you the words. Did I hear you right? I'm an auditory.
Okay.
Okay.
My language, pay attention to the person's language. They will tell you how they perceive the world.
So you will naturally sort of give away how you perceive the world because it's inherent in you, the way you perceive it. Is that what you're saying?
100% Renier. Spot on. Give that man a...
Bells.
He is spot on. You will give it away because that is how you see the world. I've just told you, I'm a hugger. So how are you going to deal with me going forward?
Give you a hug.
You give you a hug. Yeah.
You give me a hug.
Go.
I am yours. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Virtual hug. Okay, cool. There is a part in your manual that talks about calibration. You can go and test it through doing this exercise with someone you love or someone you don't love, doesn't matter. Okay, but I'm not going to go through that exercise now. I want to move on to dealing with criticism because it is one of those things that trip up communication. When criticism is meted out at us, we take it personally. Do we?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. So we take it into our body, goes in here first, and then it goes and manifests in your body.
Yeah.
What does it do to communication?
Breaks it down.
It breaks it down, yeah.
100%. So is it a good idea to learn how to manage?
Yes.
Okay, good. Is there anybody here who's prepared to volunteer to do a little exercise with me? And I want that person to be open enough, and this is a safe space. Brian, it's not going to the public. It's a safe space. If I can use one of you, because it's much better if I can practically show it to you. And the rest of the group can listen. Oh, there you go. Love it. Oh, Jyoti as well. Great, great.
Actually, can I make it really interesting and suggest Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say the same. I think either Jason or me are probably the people who need that help. I think.
No, Jay.
Yeah, it's
Oh, bless.
This are all fine. It's water with duck's back. It's fine.
Okay.
We love you
You're going
anyway.
to learn today to have broad shoulders and to take and accept and to learn. That's what we're here for. We are here to learn new skills, new tricks, and how to do it better and apply it. So the hand that went up first was Rhaenyra. So sorry, Avashi, is that okay? We can.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was just joking, really.
All right, cool. All right, Rhaenyra. Let me talk to you. I'm going to look you straight in the eye. Okay. So first thing I want to ask you is this criticism. What is it exactly? And I want the exact words. I'm assuming it comes from a person. You don't need to name names, okay? What is that criticism and what are the exact words that that person is saying to you?
Do you mean a specific example of criticism?
Yes, you are being criticized. You put your hand up. You said you know all about this. So I want to know when you are being criticized and the person, obviously the person is saying something. It's the only way that the criticism can come through. They're saying something to you.
Okay, you should know something already because you've been doing this a long time.
I'm writing this notes down because it's very important for me to use the exact words. Okay, so give me a moment to write that down. You should know
What you are doing
what you are doing
because you've been doing it for a long time.
Thank you for that. Okay, now tell me, what is your exact reaction or your thought or your response to that?
So my thought is, why do you assume that I would know this? And my reaction, I guess my reaction is the same. Why are you assuming that I would know this?
Okay. Do you in your reaction, have you got a specific something that you do and this is said to you? Do you walk away? Do you what?
No, I wouldn't walk away, but I mean, I think in this situation, I probably said, you know, you can't expect everyone to know what you know. And this is criticism in the context of what we do is so complex and has so many layers to it that all of us are always learning.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm writing down the piece that you said. You can't expect everyone to know what you know. Okay.
yeah,
I'm going to take that part.
yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that, Rhaenyra. You know movie characters or animation characters, right?
Yeah.
You know what? Can you give this person who is meting out the criticism to you, can you give that person a character and give it a name? What would you think, if you had to look at that person or think about what does that remind you of, that person?
Dr. Evil.
Oh,
no. This is all I can think of. Dr.
it's
Evil.
okay. We'll call him Dr. Evil.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Oh man.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're learning. If you had to give yourself a character, what would you be?
to give myself a character. Well, I can't say James Bond.
Oh no.
Why can't you say James Bond?
No, because I don't think it's James Bond. It's not the right one.
Okay. Give us a character.
Dr. No.
No. Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yes.
Iron Man. Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay. So if you had to think about this criticism now, again, and take yourself out of the picture, Rainier's not there, Iron Man is there, okay?
Yeah.
Dr. Evil. Tell me, what exactly would Dr. Evil be saying? What would Dr. Evil say? Thinking about that character.
Yeah. I think you would say something along the lines of, well, I don't really care.
Burn your house down.
My mastermind. You know, I'm the mastermind.
So he would say, so the person says to you, you should know what you are doing because you've been doing it for a long time. And Dr. Evil would say,
I'm the mastermind.
I'm the mastermind.
And everybody should just know what I know.
And everybody should just know what I know.
Yeah.
Okay, and what would Iron Man say?
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. So Iron Man's very strong, but he's very diplomatic.
Is what?
You know, he's strong, but he's very diplomatic. He doesn't resolve to confrontation immediately, I think.
So what would he say? Give me some words.
Dr. Evil, I don't agree with you.
Okay. So,
Difficult.
sorry?
This is difficult.
Can you start to see the picture?
Yeah, yeah.
What we've done here is you've disassociated yourself because we're using, it's you, but we're using Iron
Yes,
Man,
but it's,
using Dr. Evil.
yeah.
We've given them, that's what we need to do. When you are in a situation, you have to disassociate, because what happens if you don't disassociate? You're in it with your own emotions, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to walk away from something that you could have learned or you could have responded back better to.
Mm-hmm.
Because
because I think what I was trying to say was Iron Man would probably say, explain to me why you think that.
Correct.
Everybody should know what you know.
Correct.
Yeah.
Iron Man would do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to, the lesson in dealing with criticism is the disassociation.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes again, go Iron Man onto Dr. Evil, because Iron Man, as you said, he's not just going to overreact. He's going to be diplomatic about it. He's not going to get emotional about it. He's not going to get so hurt by it. He's going to try and understand what's underlying. What is this man trying to tell me, or this person trying to tell me? And he's going to work from that map, not the emotional map.
Okay.
Have you learned something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Big learning out of this.
Sorry, I'm hearing ambulances in your background. Who's got ambulances?
Sorry, it's here. I'm on the main road.
COVID patients.
Yes.
No more.
I just thought we needed to stop the Zoom so that you can deal with your problem.
No.
No, okay, cool. Right, so the learning is that you unpack the situation, and Rainier and everyone else, this does not come overnight, okay? You have to try and practice this disassociation so that you can look at it from a different perspective and don't walk away from good things. So Dr. Evil says you should know these things. He's trying to tell you something. Understand what that is. Okay. And do it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Guys, I could go on with this. I'm giving you a taste of it. I could do a full course on just doing this and teaching you that. I can't. We don't have all the time in the world. I'm going to move on to the next. But I want the pennies to drop as we go along, so that you have a picture when you walk away from us today. Okay.
Can I just quickly say, receiving criticism is very emotive. I think it's what we might need to learn to do is just to not be so emotional about it.
Yeah.
So emotional.
Absolutely.
And also, I think taking your time to respond, because
Yes.
I know I'm very guilty of this. When I get criticized, before they even finish that sentence, I'm already defensive, and I'm already got a response in my head that I'm going to go for.
Yeah.
And actually, it's learning, take your time, listening what they're trying to say, and think about your response before you open your mouth, because that's one of my biggest flaws, is I talk quickly without actually understanding what they're saying.
Yes.
I think isn't part of this. So it's about who the criticism is coming from, and whether or not you sometimes value the person that it's coming from. I know in my case, I can take it easier if I value their opinion and their knowledge rather over somebody whose opinion may be knowledge I don't value as much. So I think that can have a slant in how that can have a skewer in how we possibly receive the criticism.
100%. It's about, remember, deletion, distortion, generalization. You will pay attention to what you value. So if you value that person, you're going to pay more attention to that person. I want to throw this out at you, Brian. Don't delete the other person because they don't have the same value in your value system. Don't delete it, because you can still learn from there as well. Okay. And that makes the communication better at the end of the day. The person that you are battling with, that's showing up as if they're showing off and they know it all and whatever, you need to go and build that bridge to that person. And this is part of it. Disassociate and try and understand where he is coming from and what is he really trying to say to you. So I always say, I'll be with you now, Vashi. I always say we can't change other people, but we can change ourselves. Okay, but 100% correct. It proves the point. We delete, distort, and generalize in those ways. Okay. Ulvashi?
What happens if you don't trust the person?
If what?
If you don't trust the person.
Yeah.
Because that fundamentally can play quite a big part in conflict. If in your own mind there has been experiences with that person and you formed a view that actually you're not able to trust, conflict becomes even more complex to handle. And I hear what you're saying. It's very hard to use techniques if the trust isn't there. So what do you do in those situations? Because I do have one case with an employee, fundamentally, because what happened, I get the math bit. I think it's been very useful. I've learned something. But actually, fundamentally, the issue for me would be is some of their actions that have come to light to me show that actually what they perceive to be is not what they do afterwards. Right. About me and other people as well.
I hope that you've done the values exercise. Did you?
No, I didn't do that.
You didn't do your homework.
Sorry, I didn't get the chance to do all of it. So,
Okay. Because what you've just touched on is a value, a very important value called trust.
yeah,
We cannot have rapport with someone if we don't trust them.
no.
If the trust has been broken down through something they did to us, we need to go and fix that first. We need to go and find out what happened there, how did it happen, what can we do to fix that, if you want to continue to have a relationship with that person.
What happens if you don't really want to fix it? I mean, I'm not, for me, he's an employee and I keep a working relationship. It's a lot better now, but I fundamentally still do not trust the person in the team.
Send him on this course of Archie.
He needs sacking. So, no. Fundamentally, I won't trust him. And I think some other team members have same issue. It's just his way of getting excited and really creatively describing the situations, manipulatively to other people has happened. So I'm from a communication perspective, he seemed to be doing better. And one thing he's worked out about probably my map is that I'm delivery focused. So he seems to be delivering. But for a fundamental trust and rapport, I don't think I want it even with him, to be honest, as long as he gets the work done.
Okay.
So what do you do in a relationship like that, which professionally works, but actually rapport is a very personal thing to me. And bar him, the rapport with him would be very difficult because that breach of trust has fundamentally been, how do you repair that breach of trust, which actually is difficult to repair. I think for me, that's the issue. Professionally, we can work.
Yes. I would suggest that you get a mediation going. I have had that situation where I've helped people through this. It happened in a corporate organization, and there was fundamentally the trust and the respect factor was touched. You know, when you touch people's core values, that's where things go wrong. And if you don't actually go and work with it the way we did now, to unpack it and understand why it happened in the first place and how we can mend it, mend the relationship and get back on track, it will fundamentally remain there, Urvashi. It is something that needs to be worked at. It cannot just disappear on its own way. And yes, that person, I'm not sure if they know how much they have touched your value, which is called trust. I don't know how much they know about it. We need to get them to understand what they've actually what have they done to have broken this relationship to that extent. It requires intervention. It requires an unpacking exactly the way we just did. And it can be done. However, if you look in your manual also, effective communication will not be possible unless both parties feel accountable, unless both parties come to the party. You can do as much as you like, but you can take the horse to the water, can't make a drink. But there are ways that we can build the fence, build the bridge. Did that answer you?
Yes, I think it does. So I've sort of built that communication bridge to professionally keep the show on the road. And surprisingly, he does deliver a few things. Fundamentally, he has recognized the respect that I have earned in the organization. So that's sort of shifted his position a bit. But a hardcore rapport and trust with him, me, and a couple other members of staff actually. An example is, I won't take too much time. An email came to my attention, which it shouldn't have, from him. He sent to he worked out a couple of members of the staff are quite quiet, lack a bit of confidence. The others are very confident, so he doesn't approach them. The ones he can manipulate, he somehow sends emails to them saying, you, me, the two other people, saying, equal, that's from me, never can do anything right, X, brilliant, X can never do anything. And so those two people, when I speak to them, they say, well, we're really happy, we're learning, but he keeps telling them, I don't like them. I don't know where he's got that impression from, because I don't speak to him about it at all. There's a manipulation going on of the weak personalities in the team against me. And the stronger ones he can't approach because they don't want to know.
Okay, so in some shape or form, this is going to affect, you're saying that you've got a professional work relationship, it will affect it because we're all human beings. And look at what's just happening in the background now, with him trying to sort of gang up with other people against you. So it does need intervention and it does need solving, is what I'm trying to say to you, Vashi. Not now, we don't have the time, but I do.
No.
Yeah,
Absolutely. No, thank you. Sorry, guys. I thought
That's fine.
I wanted to do this clarification and trust, that's all.
Fantastic. It's good. It's good to get things out. Okay. I want to know who did the exercise.
I did half.
The value exercise or something different?
The value exercise. The
Yeah, I
page.
did that, of course. It was homework.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very good. Andy, can I pick on you?
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully I interpreted it right. So I wrote down the list of the various values and then ticked off where I had perceived issues in relation to putting time or energy, etc. on them. I only counted the ones where I showed that I saw a perceived issue. Okay, so not the value itself. So for instance, family, I had one issue, which was money. Okay, but all the other issues, people, energy, time, were all fine. Okay, so that gave me 1 score. And on the basis of that, I scored 1 with 3 ticks, none with 4. Most were, well, they were either 2 or 1s. The ones were family, charity, travel.
I want to just write that down. Give me a sec. Family,
Charity,
charity,
travel,
travel,
business.
business.
And the ones with 2 ticks were sort of a mix of adventure and surprise and living overseas.
Adventure, surprise.
Yeah, just wrapped up to living overseas.
Yeah.
Innovation
Yeah.
and golf and sport.
Golf and sport. Okay. Thank you. You did interpret the exercise very correctly. So well done.
Okay. And the one I scratched out was politics.
Not a value. So you're not.
Exactly.
We're not spending any more time on politics. Is that okay, Andy?
Yeah, that's cool.
Right. The ones where you had 3 ticks, you're gonna take them out the picture as well.
Politics was the only one I had 3 ticks on.
Okay, politics was the only one that had 3 ticks. Okay, fantastic. So the 1 tick stuff, which was family, charity, travel, and business, those are your true values. Those are the things that you're focusing on. Those are the things that you are going to take with you into your vision statement. I don't know, Andy, I mean, you and Jason head up this business, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would take it that you have a vision for your organization.
Yep.
And that your vision for yourself is in place or not yet? It is?
Yes, it's in place. It's in line with what I want to achieve.
There you go. Okay.
There's certain timelines related to it, but other than that, I got the vision of what I want to do.
Fantastic. So the values exercise proved to you that you're in the right direction. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, 100%. That's why we do it. We want solid proof through our own minds and working through our own stuff, not from what other people are telling us we should be doing or could be doing or whatever. It's from what comes from from your true driver. And that is the essence of the exercise, and well done. I'd like to see whether you managed to write the vision statement in under 50 words, your own.
Yeah.
You did.
I'll share it with you later.
You'll share it with me later. Fantastic. Because that is what it is, okay? You have to have that thing. I've got my vision board standing here and I live my life in accordance with what's going on and where I'm driving towards. It's the only way. It's like we said, a good map is only good enough if it takes you where you want to go. So fantastic. Well done on Andy for doing it and for getting there. You mentioned something about timeline. On that exercise was a small personal development plan, a little template that says, I want to achieve this goal. And the goal must be SMART. It must be specific. It must be measurable. It must be achievable, realistic, and there must be a timeline. Okay, so I'm hoping that that exercise is in the making. Guys, this is work in progress. I'm talking to Andy now, and I'm going to pick on one or two others here as well. So, fantastic. And as the leader of the, I am encouraged to hear what you've just said. So that's awesome. Fantastic. Okay, that means this business is going, and your people want to hear that, Andy. Jason, you as well. Your people want to hear that your vision is in place and that the organization is going in the right place. You know, when I go into corporate companies and I walk in, the vision statement is plastered all over the building, isn't it? Mm. But if I ask the staff, they can't tell me. They can't tell me what the values are, and they can't tell me what the vision is, and they don't know where this company is going. Okay, so it is so powerful and so important. I would even suggest you have a workshop just around that. What is this thing? What is this thing? Where are we going? Where are we heading? What do we want? Your people need to follow you with that map, with the right map. Not one is in Paris and the other one's in London. Mm. That's what this thing does for us. It drives us in the same direction. Okay, we had a couple other hands up as to who did the exercise. Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Thanks, Jay.
So I had a whole list of values, and obviously I ticked across the time, energy, money, and people line, and I whittled it down to 4 that I blocked out with either a 1 tick or a 2. So the first one was security. Got 2 ticks on there. Honesty, freedom, and knowledge.
Honesty,
freedom,
knowledge. Is that the 2 ticks?
All of those were 1 ticks. The 2 ticks was, yeah, and security was the 2 ticks.
Okay, security was 2 ticks, and honesty, freedom, and knowledge was 1 tick.
Yeah. All the rest I scratched out. I've got 3 or more.
Did you get rid of them all?
Yeah. I did.
I
Which did you scratch out? I'm curious.
I had family, because it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of people skills.
Yeah.
Travel, also time, energy, money, commitment, and business.
Oops.
So I'm not saying my value is not in the business, so I don't want my staff to get a different opinion. It's just what is the personal values. So this is what we did it on.
Okay, and then it's about being a little bit more balanced, I would think. Being a little bit more balanced, and not that the business takes over your whole life. No. And you have no time for these other things, and that's the right way to look at it as well. So honesty, freedom, and knowledge are your 3 main values, and you're going to write your vision statement in line with that. And you have?
No. No.
You'll share it with me later.
The reason I took long on the vision statement, because I want to do it right. I want to write something that is achievable and that sets a goal. So I just don't want to put it on a piece of paper. I really want to think about this, do it properly, because it should be your statement for your vision. You know what I'm saying? It should be something achievable.
Yes, it's that thing when someone slaps you on the back one day and they say, "What's your vision?" It comes. It's your 30-second elevator pitch about you, and that's fantastic. And I'm great. I'm encouraged to hear that you are going to do it. And please don't leave it for 3 months from now. Okay, now is the time to act. Okay, I had a hand up, Uvashi.
Yeah, just a comment. What I really like and what inspired me to work with Andy and Jason is one thing is in common, that integrity is at the heart of what they do.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really very important to me. Having read what Andy just said and Jason said, one common denominator is integrity, honesty, They both pick that, and I think that is, I would advise, that's really is at the heart of your vision, because that's what defines you both guys, at least to me.
And trust.
Yes, absolutely.
The trusting.
Yeah.
See,
Loyalty.
Bosch, even though you didn't do the exercise, already know what's your number one value.
Yeah.
Integrity and honesty.
Yeah.
Honesty and integrity. Exactly. That's the only thing that attracted me to the company.
Fantastic. Great. Guys, we need to move on. Is there anybody who has something to say about this exercise that we need to hear right now?
No.
Nobody? Brian?
No?
Did you understand the exercise?
Yeah.
Did you get to write your vision statement?
Yeah.
You do. Have you got a little personal development plan going now?
Yes, I've got a, yes. I've got to tweak it a bit.
Fantastic. We can help you with that. Dirty?
I did the exercise. I've got a vision statement, but it's more than 50 words.
Had it done.
Bring it back. Redo it. Redo it. Nothing wrong with redoing it. Okay. Get good at it. Get good at it. Companies spend thousands of pounds. Sorry, pounds on their vision statements. Why shouldn't you? Why shouldn't you? Take an hour for yourself. Ranier, we okay with the exercise?
Yes, yeah. I maybe just, I don't know if I understood the exercise 100%, but for me it feels maybe a little bit that your vision statement is very dependent on the current situation, on sort of a snap, or mine was at least a snapshot of where I am at this point of my life.
Yeah, me too.
And the time, energy, money, and people, those elements to me, if I look at my individual values over a longer period of time, or if I put that over a period of time, I can see it moving, and I can see that, you know, I have a vision statement, but as things change in my life, that vision statement I can see will also have to change, or will also change. I don't know if am I perceiving this right, or?
Your vision statement, you write it in the present, but you're seeing yourself in the future. Okay, that's the vision statement. So it says, you're seeing yourself 5 years from now. I am healthy, I am wealthy, I have got, I travel the world 5 times a year. I see myself there, but I write it as if I'm there already. You are very right in the sense that these, the values exercise, please redo it in a couple of months. Because it will change. As you start building and working with stuff, it will change. And it's supposed to. It is supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not cast in stone. It's not something that you now, you shouldn't actually, you know, now for the rest of your life, I must be this. No, we're not boxed like that. We are fluid human beings and we are growing. We just want you to have a vision so that you have a map of where you are going. That's the essence of it.
Okay.
Thank you. Last but not least, Bron, we want to quickly share.
Yeah, I've done the first part. I just haven't written the statement. So when I've done that, I will send that to you too.
Fantastic. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bronwyn, that you've done the exercise and you just do that for yourself. It is so liberating when we do that for ourselves.
Yes.
It's like $1 million when you've done it for yourself. And Uvashi, please go and do the exercise and work through it. Drop me a mail if you are lost a little bit or whatever, and ask the questions. But just get there. You'll be surprised how powerful it is. I want to quickly. Where are we now, time-wise, Sammy?
11:06.
11:06. Okay. It's supposed to be. So we over time. Because it's 12 it's
We're still an hour to go this side.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. I get confused because now, anyway, let me move on. This thing called personal brand. With you having done all that exercises now and having listened to everything that we said this morning, okay, when you look in your manual, there's a little graph there, or a little picture that says personal brand is in the middle of it all. Value sits here at the top, vision sits here, and mission sits there. And in the middle is brand. Brand is not just about how you look or how you dress. Brand is all this stuff. Brand is how do you answer an email? Did you ever think that? That how you answer the next email shows your brand. So think about the way you answer the next email. How you answer the phone?
Yeah.
Your brand. What is your tone of voice? What is your body saying? It has everything to do with the way you look, but it has more to do with the way you show up, what you're speaking. The language that you speak is your brand. So if you're going around and going, you know what, everything is so bad, and I wish this Brexit would be over by now, or whatever it's happening in my country or my company or my... If you are uttering those words, that's your brand. You are tainting your brand by the language you speak.
Okay.
You should never, ever, ever, ever do that. So listen to the words that you are saying on a daily basis. Change your language, you can. I'm not saying go and speak a foreign language.
No. Positive words.
Take every possible negative word out of your language today, right now. There's no more I can't. Or I'm too... I don't have enough knowledge. I don't have that. Don't is a negative word, isn't it?
Yeah.
Take it out because your brain cannot comprehend it. It will give it back to you. So brand, when you've written that vision statement, that is how you show up from now onwards in this world, okay? You have the proper map in your hand. You know where you are going, and you know that this brand, when it walks into the next building, it signs the deal. It's as powerful as that. Why do companies spend thousands and thousands and millions of pounds on it? Why? Why?
Brings in money. It's investment.
It brings in money, absolutely. Companies will continue to advertise. Matt is in the advertising game. Why do they pick you for adverts, Matt? Tell us. Your mute is on. Tell us why they pick you for ads.
So when I enter an audition room, a casting venue, it's always, like I said, I do profiling beforehand on who they want me to play. Am I going to be a waiter? Am I a thief? Whatever I'm doing in the advert. And I always have to walk into the room like that kind of person. So if I'm playing a gangster or whatever, I'll walk in with a bit of a swag. Or I'm playing a businessman, I'm making sure that I'm walking up straight and tall, and my chest is out, and I always try and my brand has got to come through my body first, so that they know before I even open my mouth, this guy is a thief, or he's a waiter, or whatever the case may be. But I have to make sure that beforehand I know exactly what I'm going to be doing with this. What are profiles? What brand am I putting out there? Yeah, and that's how a book works.
And that's how it works. So thank you for that, Matthew. 100% how it works. So integrated healthcare properties. What is your brand? What is your brand?
What is our brand? Transforming health estates from a company point of view or from a personality point of view of the company?
Give me the company and tell me how you're showing up against that.
So the company's been set up as providing an honest position, or an honest reflection of costs for health centres and equalising the state. So we treat everybody equal, and that's the ethos effectively. Integrity, delivery, value for money.
Yeah, and when Jason walks in, what does Jason say?
Give me a check. That's what I say. Where's the contract?
Well, thank you, Jay. That's what I'm trying to get at. Are you and this brand the same thing? And yes, I mean, you obviously you're at the head of it. That is what it. Does everybody do that? Urvashi, you had your hand up.
I would say the brand is get things done. That's how I see IHP brand, get things done. And that's what Jason and Andy reflect to me more than anything else. They get things done when others can't get them done. So to me, IHP represents get things done.
Efficient.
And you?
Yeah.
And you?
I'm absolutely get things done. I'm nothing, it's not that. I'm known to be get things done person. So I think people only get me involved because I get things done.
There you go.
That's what's on our board.
There's the brand. The brand says get things done. When you walk in or they hear you on the phone, it's get things done.
Yeah.
And I think definitely, Jason is the kind of person who, you know, the environment that we work in is people tend to be very indecisive and don't really want to put their name to anything specifically. Jason is just the absolute opposite of that. And I think he's instilled that in all of us, both Jason and Andy. You know, they make decisions and they get things done. And you can see, it's things that you can see, it's things that you can, you know, the progress and then
And one of the things we discussed as well, thanks for that, Renia, when we started the company, both me and Andy, we are not in it to become multimillionaires. That's not the reason. We're in it to leave a legacy. We want to give back to the community that we are working in. And that is one of the biggest drivers for IHP. It's giving back to the community and leaving a legacy.
Dare I say, I think it's quite strange because hearing a lot of this from Jason and Andy, because I think, going to myself, how I am as a person and what I do. I'm a doer. I like being kind of saying, this is what needs to be done. Can you get along and do it? And get along and do it. And I think part of my frustration is being back in an organization with people who don't like doing things. Just as you said, Renier, it's just going over and over and over, same things. And it's like, well, we can just get this done. What's the problem? Why can't we just, but we seem to have meetings upon meetings upon meetings and information sharing, and people ask you to provide the same information over and over again, thinking that they're going to get a different result, but there's no different results. It's still about action in something.
Yeah.
And so I think as I said, I've just kind of twigged in myself and IHP, and then my frustration, I suppose, with the manager that I've referred to earlier. Not actually kind of, here we go, this is what we're going to do, this is direction. It's kind of like leading. We're going over there, and this is how we're going to go. We're going to go by car, we're going to go by train, but we're going that way. I'm not sure if we're going that way, and I'm not sure what kind of vehicle we can take, and it's kind of quite mamby-pamby, which is, I think so that's been quite interesting hearing that.
Okay, Brian, you keep coming back to that one specific thing. I think we need to have a conversation around that, and if you'll allow me, I'll try and help you. Okay, really, I can see what we can do to get better at it, if that's okay. But thank you for sharing. I can hear it's that thing. It's frustrating. We've got to get over it. Thank you. It's a 10-minute break, and Sam's counting us down. Is that cool? Okay, cool. Matt, over to you.
All right, can you guys all see my screen?
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
put my screen up. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pin is up there. It is 986199. Everybody can see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's the pin you'll enter. And then you guys should all start appearing on my
Nickname.
screen. Ah, Brian is in.
Mine says nickname. Okay, go.
Okay, Andy's in, Brian's in, Ranier's in, Jason's in, JT's in. All right. Okay, guys, so you're going to be using your phone to answer the questions. There's going to, it will be multiple choice. All the blocks will come up in different colors with a different shape, and you have to match that with the correct answer. Everybody understand?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, so who is this?
Oh, well, hold on. I can't see.
Heidi.
Barbie.
Not supposed to read it out.
Okay, now that you've told everybody.
Oh, sorry.
So what's going to happen, you'll see after this round, once everybody's got the answers in. Okay, so there we go. 5 correct and 2 incorrect. So the answer is Barbie. All right, so this will be the scoreboard. And it all depends on how fast you get your answers in. So Jason's in the lead on 830. Renier right behind on 827. Okay, so that was the first one. Let's carry on. Renier taking 3rd place with 16 out of 20. Andy, 17 out of 20. And wow, the big first place.
Gertie.
Wow.
Well done, you.
I copied what Jason said about Twitter.
Yeah.
Tough one, Jason. Not even making it onto
That's what the bosses
podium.
do.
So
Let the
close.
staff take
Yes,
all
so
the
far.
achievements.
We're handing over to Sam to wind us down, and then we will have a wrap-up session. We're doing well for time. So Sammy, over to you.
What I'm going to do is, as a professional dancer and a dance teacher and a fitness trainer, something that I've learned that is very important is to be able to relax yourself. And so I want to just teach you one thing, which is a technique. I'll explain what kind of technique it is after I say this. So what's the one thing you say to someone when they're panicking?
Don't panic.
Don't
Okay,
panic. Yeah.
I'm looking for it. Keep going. There's something specific.
Calm down.
Relax.
Breathe.
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 Yeah.
Breathe. Nobody has to teach you how to breathe, but for some reason, when you're panicking, you completely forget how to breathe.
Yeah.
So something that's very important, and this is a really good technique, not only does it help if you're someone who suffers from anxiety, but also if you're someone who can't sleep, it will really help you. If you are that kind of person that goes to bed and you're thinking about everything that happened the day before or is going to happen tomorrow, this is a way to calm your mind down because you are only focusing on one thing. So this breathing technique, you actually have to count. I'm going to count for you now, but when you do it by yourself and you practice it, you count, and therefore you're only focusing on one thing. So the breathing technique that I'm going to teach, it's called box breathing. I don't know if any of you have ever done yoga before. They do this in yoga. You know, yoga is Zen. It's a very calming thing to do. So I'm going to teach you something called box breathing. So what I want you to do is I want you to all switch off your cameras, please. The reason why I'm asking you to switch off your cameras is because I want everyone to close their eyes. And I know for some people it can be awkward when your eyes are closed and you feel like someone's watching you. So I don't want you to have that feeling like I'm staring at you while your eyes are closed and nobody else is looking at you either. So if everybody could just take a second, just close your eyes, sit back in your chair and completely relax. So before we even start, I want everybody to just take a deep breath in. Breathe in. And breathe out. When we breathe in through our nose and out through our mouth for this technique. So one more time, breathe in and breathe out. One thing that I'd like to point out that I'm not sure if any of you noticed is when you took a deep breath in, if you were someone that actually like lifted your chest up in order to breathe, that's not necessary. The air is the same everywhere. So all you need to do is stay in one spot and let your lungs expand. Okay, so this breathing technique, you're going to breathe in for 4, and then you're going to hold it for 4, and then you're going to breathe out for 4, and you're going to hold it for 4. Make sure that when you breathe in, you are taking in air for all the 4 counts, not just, and then you're done. So let's try this. Ready? Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. And relax. Just breathe normally. If at any point you feel dizzy, please just breathe normally. Breathe. So what we're going to do is we're going to do one more time for 4, and then we're going to try 6. So we're building up, and this is how we increase our lung capacity. The more oxygen you take in, the better your brain can function. So the more you increase your lung capacity, the more air you can take in. So we're going to do again for 4, and then we're going to try 6. Ready? Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4, and 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax. I'm not sure if some of you felt like it was a little bit harder because you're taking in more air slowly, but the more you practice, the easier it'll get. So I'd just like to do it one more time, and then I'll let you switch your cameras back. So one more time for 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and hold. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and relax. Okay, you may open your eyes and you may switch on your cameras for me, please. So this breathing, yeah, this breathing technique really does help you if you are someone that stresses easily. It's also a very quick way to calm yourself down. And it's normally if you're stressing, it takes you a while to calm down, but this really should help you calm down quickly. So what you do is you do it for 4, then you do it for 6, then you do it for 8, then you do it for 10, then you do it for 12, and then you call me so I can watch.
Yeah, because we can't.
Because if you can do it for 12, That's brilliant. Okay. So really, that's my advice for you. It's called box breathing. It is very good for you, but if you do feel dizzy, breathe normally.
Okay.
And just keep counting. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for that, Sammy. I hope that you felt that breathing. I did. I did it
Yes.
with her, and you should actually feel a little bit of hurt in your top because you carry a lot of stress in your shoulders, and that actually helps. And it's another technique. If you can teach yourself how to calm down quickly in a situation, any situation, you're the winner in the communication. What I also wanted to say, we do have a YouTube channel, and Sam does videos for us from time to time. So please go into Forward Thinking Institute. There's a YouTube channel, and go and have a look and try and do those breathing exercises. There's also a meditation there. It's all stuff that will help you to practice how to calm down quickly and also get to know a little bit more about our company. Right, we have come to the end of our parts here. I want to get some feedback from each and every one of you as we wrap up today. I hope that you've enjoyed spending these 3 hours with us and that you have learned a couple of things. And also with you just sharing with us what you've learned today, please can you also just introduce what you do in your company, because I was amiss this morning. I didn't ask you for that, but please, if you could take that time now, just a couple of seconds of what you actually do so that we can also get to know you a little bit better, and then tell us what have you learned out of the session today. And I will start you off with Jason.
Sure. So background, what I actually do in the company is obviously we co-run it with Andy. We're both co-founders. I work with the clients mostly directly. But it's completing on the contracts that we've got. So all the facilitation with client lead on the contracts and manage all of the office, the company office, if that makes sense. What I've learned out of this is our first staff development for all of our staff, IHP. Obviously, we're also a new company. This is the 3rd year we've been running, and we've been profitable every year, and our income and turnover is growing, so it means our company is growing. We're also very keen that all the staff that we employ to join IHP have got the same ethos, i.e. integrity, wanting to leave a legacy, and that's why I think our team works really well, and I want to continue in developing the staff as we grow as a company.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Jason. Okay, we'll go to Renier next. I'm just going down the screen, okay?
Okay, I've been with IHP, I think, in June will be 2 years. Well, it's 2 years now with IHP. And I'm a program manager, and my background is sort of in estates management, facilities management. And Bronwyn and myself actually work on a program at the moment where we recover business rates from GP practices back to NHS England. So it's a complicated process, but yeah, that's what we do.
And just to give you a bit of credit as well, Renee and Bronwyn, you know, they brought in over £10 million of money that's been lying with GP practices for a number of years that no one's actually chased them to get back into the NHS system. So it's quite a good, important piece of work. So well done to the 2 of you as well.
Thank you.
Great. Renee, just a little bit about what you learned today.
Yeah, it's interesting for me, the whole mind mapping, body language, the vocab, the report building, because I think in layman's terms, we say, do you click with someone? Do I click with someone? And this is sort of broken down, or it's broken down that how you click with someone, what does it actually mean to click with someone, and what can I influence to make that, you know, that click better? Because we instantly click or we don't click. And I think we tend to just, then if we don't click with someone, we tend to just step away from it. And it's interesting for me to see, to kind of get an understanding on what it means to click with someone, you know, what happens behind the scenes, and what we can do to you know, make it a better experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, a more beneficial click for both, you know, for me and for whoever I'm trying to connect with.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Renier. Thank you.
And also, can I just say that, you know, for the last 3 months, all of us have been separate and isolated and quarantined. Just doing this today, for me, it makes me feel like I'm part of something again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Renier. Bronwyn.
Yeah, a bit like Renier said, we do the business rates, and I will be doing a bit of admin for IHP and a bit of social media, which I want to do a lot of so that we can get IHP out there. And yeah, I've learned a lot today. Communication, I think I'm pretty good at communication, but I've learned I can do a lot better.
That's
So
fantastic.
it's been very good for me. Very rewarding.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing and all the best with the social media.
Thank you. I'm training at the moment, so once I know what's what, I'm out there.
I can tell you now, you start with that brand building vision statement and go and take us to places that you never thought you could.
Exactly that.
Thank you, Bron.
Thanks, Glynis.
Jyoti?
Yeah, so I'm a financial modeling manager. So essentially, I listen to Jason and Andrew's vision, and I translate it into an Excel file, and then do the backup behind summary and the strategy that they present to the clients. I really enjoyed the course today. It was really nice to have different people, different trainers, and it's really good that it wasn't monotonous. We did a training course a couple of months ago, and it was just quite draining. Whereas this
whole day, yeah.
Also, it's been really nice to see the whole team and see people and have this contact, the Zoom contact. Yeah. What I've actually learned, it's been quite interesting because I've learned about values, what my values are, and how they tie into what Jason and Andy were saying about their values. So that was quite interesting. The other thing I learned is about communication, how I tend to adjust my style of communication depending on the person. It's obviously something that we do inherently just by picking signs up. That was quite interesting to get the science behind it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fantastic, and thank you for that lovely comprehensive update on what you do for the organization and the values, and that you linked it really nicely back to what the organization is all about, and that's key. That's key. We should all do that. That's very, very important. And thank you for the nice feedback around us. We really appreciate that. Thanks, Jyoti. Brian.
You're on mute, Brian.
You're on mute, Brian.
Thank you. I received that rail. I'm a project manager, and so I'm doing a lot of forward-facing implementing of I was going to say implementing of strategies, but that's partly what I'm there to do, and working with the client to help them achieve their various goals around estates. I found it very, very enlightening. It's a reminder for me of understanding about engagement, communications, and realizing the different forms of engagement. I had been told before about my facial expressions in one meeting that we had, and which was kind of still in my mind in this. So this has been very, very helpful. And also, I suppose the other part of it, it's that because of working to some extent in isolation, even when we weren't in the lockdown situation as a company, and even in what I do, there was nobody else around apart from, I would sometimes see Renee and Brodin, but mostly Jyoti. So of course that's gone, and of course I maintain contact with Jason and Andy. But so this has been really good, and I think also just that time, I think just being able to, because Jyoti's not around, just being able to say to somebody, you know, this is kind of, or is it me? My head's going crazy on this. But this has been helpful, and just to remind me to take things in perspective and understand maybe even how I'm perceived and how I want to be perceived as well, and therefore give other people the benefit of doubt and be patient and be considerate of more than what I'm seeing in front of me. It's kind of like the iceberg effect. There's more than what one is just seeing in terms of mapping. So that's why it's been helpful. And also this session has been fun, even with the breaks and the different kind of things that have been done. It hasn't been, I mean, I'm sure like everybody else, you've been on so many Zoom or other kind of video meetings, and they've been challenging at times. But this has been really interactive, and it's nice to be part of a team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that lovely feedback, Brian. And I would really love to help you with whatever it is that you are struggling with, because I can hear it and I can see it and I can feel it. So I'm hoping that we can have a further conversation. If you'll be in touch, I'd love to work with you. And anybody else, that's open to anybody else, not just Brian, but I'm just hearing that there's something we can work with and I can help. Okay. But thank you for the feedback. Really appreciate it. Urvashi.
For me, I think it's been really, my role in the organization is I'm non-exec director. So I'm looking at the organization from the outside, challenging and also supporting. My interaction generally is with Jason and Andy at board when we have board meetings. It's been really nice to see the team. I know some of you might remember me. I remember Renee from my previous roles, and Jyoti. I did do some work with Jyoti. So hi Jyoti. But I've heard of Brian and Bronwyn, but I haven't met them. So it's been really nice to see the whole team. So for me, that's been absolutely brilliant. At least I can put a face to a name when Andy and Jason mention it. I know who they are now. I'm fairly new. I've only recently joined. I think the big take from me here is that I feel more reassured that I'm in the right company because the values agree. And in terms of the session, I think you run it really well, very interactive. And believe me, I'm also in my other role, a chief executive of an organization. And I attend lots of Zoom meetings, 24/7 almost, in the NHS. And they can be very stressful. Some of them are not, you know, you just put your video out because you're so annoyed with them. But this has been really enjoyable. And thank you for inviting me to Andy and Jason. I've really learned a lot. I think the concept of maps will stay with me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that wonderful feedback, Urvashi. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time out of a hectic day in life to come and do this, and that you've taken something away with you. I think that's to me reward enough, more than enough. So thank you for that. And I really love the fact that you guys enjoyed seeing one another and that you found this a little bit different and great and engaging. So I appreciate your time. We appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Andy, last but not least.
I'm a director like Jason. We split basically a lot of the work, but I probably have more of a focus on some of the strategic direction the company takes, because we're trying to change two things. The first is obviously IHP and add different capabilities as we go through, as our opportunities entwine, and we're doing that with directly and with partnerships. And the second is we're actually trying to change the healthcare market in the UK. We think that there are better ways of delivering healthcare in terms of estate than what's actually out there. And that will be something which will benefit a lot of people, not just us. So that's our approach, and that's where we probably focus on. Today was interesting. I like these sorts of things. I've read up a little bit on some of it. I found the session useful, engaging. I like the body language things as well, because, you know, people do things differently and it's worth noticing. I liked your points on how you can identify what the triggers are for people in terms of taste and smell and those sorts of things. But what I took away most from today is we've got a good team.
Yeah.
And it was very useful for them to be able to express themselves. I think we all have a core shared value, so we might have to elucidate that. But I think we've also got to acknowledge that people are in different places at different times and give them the opportunity so that people, when they're giving these sorts of examples, know that the company's there for them as well. We can't solve everything because we have lots of situations with clients, which we can't control. But we can certainly change things over the longer term. And we can probably help out in the short term with those particular issues. And it's very good if everybody working for us, with us, also develops the sorts of skills we're talking about today to manage those situations, because we are in an environment where some people are tricky, and it's very heavily not just regulated but hierarchical. And some people believe that the power or the decision comes from the hierarchy rather than necessarily the outcome of what they're trying to deliver, or indeed sometimes their own ability. So that can cause frustration. You've got to let it wash, because we're a much better state than we were 2 or 3 years ago. And in 2 or 3 years, we're going to be in a far better state than where we are today. But so long as we've all got the same sort of core values, we see the opportunity, then we're in a very good place. Yeah, that's my view.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, and thank you for wrapping us up so nicely.
Can I maybe just also say something before we close off? So a big thanks to you, Glynis and Sam and Matt. I think it's been really helpful. I think it's been really helpful for our staff. One thing I've also picked up from all the conversations with staff is that we need to have something like this a bit more regularly.
Yeah.
I know we get lost as directors and we're trying to get more business, and we do we don't spend enough time with our staff with these soft skills, which I think is really important. So I want to do something like this pretty regularly, even if it's just with our staff on a monthly basis, because I can feel that you guys feel a bit isolated, and I really want to address that as well. And if it's beneficial for all the staff, we can have something like this regularly, quarterly with FTI, and actually let them develop what skills do you guys want to learn? What else do you guys want to learn? And they can tailor make something if that's what you're interested in doing. You could absolutely set up a course.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Jason. And thank you, Andy. Yet again, I wanted to just say you wrapped us up really nicely, and you have acknowledged the team, and that is always great leadership.
Good, thank you.
Do
I get the bingo prize now? You're going to take it away from everyone and give it to me?
Andy, bingo prize to Andy.
We as the FTI team salute you. We say thank you for spending these 3 hours with us. We appreciate your engagement. We would love some written feedback if you don't mind. I'd love to send you just a quick form. It's not going to take you a long time. I'll do it on email. You can do it in your own time with a cup of coffee. Give it to us, and if you wouldn't mind, if we could use it, use your feedback to share with other people. We want to grow, and the only way we can grow is if you give us feedback. And please be honest in your feedback. And what is the time now, Sammy? Are we
12 past 12? 12 minutes past 12.
Okay, we're at a wrap.
Now, can I just say one more thing quickly before we wrap up? For all of our staff, just so you know, FTI is pretty much in the same situation as IHP, where it's a new company, they're growing the business as we are. And if you'd also follow them on the social media, because that gives them a bigger footprint as well within the international market. So if you can do that, really helpful.
Awesome.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.
Bye. Bye.